Go to Google and type Rathod's IAS. Then you can see our website, Rathod's IAS Academy. There you have to click on login or register in the blue color. So if you have not registered yet, you have to click on do not have account and fill the details. So once you have login, click on the courses. There you can see course list. And in this course list, you can see wide range of courses. Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 16th June 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see today's quote. So today's quote is about women empowerment. So as I said, women empowerment is one of the important and favorite area of UPSC. So you need to prepare some quotes before going to examination regarding this women empowerment. So there might be an essay or there might be mains question regarding this women empowerment. And recently we can see there are a number of women issues like malnutrition, anemia, that is mainly seen in news, right? So here the quote says, there is no force more powerful than a woman determined to rise. So this quote says that there is no force more powerful than a woman determined to rise. Okay, so this quote is regarding this women empowerment. And now let us try to see first topic. It is regarding Sri Lankan crisis. So title says, in Sri Lankan crisis, a window of economic opportunity. So we are having economic opportunity in this Sri Lankan crisis. So now let us try to understand this topic in a very great detail. And this is very important from your mains point of view. So every year in international relations, especially from mains, you will be getting 3 questions for sure. So one question, it is from international organization, and recently SCO it is seen in news. Okay, so from that international organizations you can get a question like for example SCO, ASEAN, okay, and one question from bilateral relations, that is India-USA relations, India-Russia relations, like that. You can get one bilateral relation question. So apart from that, you can also get one question regarding neighborhood. That is India-Bhutan, India-Nepal, India-Sri Lanka, India-Bangladesh, India-Myanmar, India-Pakistan relations. Okay, so every year the trend from this international relation is you can get question from this international organization, one question from international organization which is seen in that year news, and next one is bilateral relations and as well as neighborhood. So I think you can get a question regarding this AUKUS this year. Okay, so this is about some introduction regarding this international relations, and students who are going to prepare for this year means, so please be prepared with these 3 areas, and these areas will not be taking much time, like 3 to 4 days it is enough to cover these 3 areas, and you can get good amount of 50 to 60 marks from this area. So here cost based benefit analysis is very high here, so please be prepared with this international relations. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under international relations. So now let us try to see why this is in news. So here you know that Sri Lanka, which is facing an extreme economic crisis and is also facing humanitarian crisis, and economy had been almost crashed down, and political instability in this Sri Lanka. So recent interview with an Indian TV channel, a Sri Lankan Prime Minister, he mainly focused on one important area. So this area which is having less emphasized, but it significant aspect of this India-Sri Lanka relations they mainly talked about. So here Sri Lankan Prime Minister, he mainly made a note on commonality. So he mainly made a note on commonality between Sri Lanka and southern parts of India, that is especially southernmost states of India. So he said that easily they can fit in Chennai or Kerala without any problem, and similarly the people who are living in the southern India, they can fit in Sri Lanka because of commonality. So there is a factor called as because of this commonality. So people in Sri Lanka, they can easily fit in Chennai and as well as Kerala, and people in the southern states of India, they can easily fit in Sri Lanka. So this is for the not the first time. So this type of statement which is mainly given, but even during the second term of Prime Minister, while he was delivering a lecture in Chennai in August 2003 also, he mainly called for development of South India, Sri Lanka sub-region. So they said that we can go for development of this South India, Sri Lankan sub-region, and we can have a single market. So we can have a single market, and this market which is mainly going to provide some opportunities, more opportunities for the economic growth, and this economic growth for the both Sri Lanka and as well as India. So in 2003, whenever this Prime Minister who mainly delivered a lecture in Chennai, at that time also he focused on South India Sri Lanka sub-region development, and this development will be helpful for providing of a single market, and this will have new opportunities for both Sri Lanka and India for economic growth. So in 2016, even when he was addressing the South Asian Diaspora Convention in Singapore, so he also highlighted about 5 Indian states, okay, 5 Indian southern states, and the total population of this 5 Indian southern states, it is about 250 million people, and the combined gross product, it is nearly $450 billion, with addition of Sri Lanka's 80 billion GDP. Okay, so the sub-region would have about $500 billion economy, and they will be having population around 270 million. So this is the thing which mainly said by Prime Minister of Sri Lanka even in South Asian Diaspora Convention. So in this way you can understand so how commonality will be important. So how common religion, common culture that is present in this region, so that will be helpful for overall growth and prosperity of this region. So in the Southeast Asia country, he had mainly referred to tri-nation economic convergence encompassing this Singapore also. So if you're talking about the present economic crisis in Sri Lanka, which mainly pushed it closer to India for immediate relief. Yes, because of present economic crisis, Sri Lanka mainly approached India for some aid, for some help. So for last few months, Indian media regular coverage of crisis, which led to the better understanding, and that also created some sense of empathy. So what is the meaning of empathy? So if you have gone through your GS4, okay, GS4, that is ethics syllabus, there is a one topic called as empathy. Empathy means we need to understand others' emotions, and we are putting ourselves in the other shoes to understand what are the problems you are facing. Okay, so this is the meaning of empathy. So because whenever Indian media, which is mainly covering the crisis of Sri Lanka, that mainly led for understanding the situation that is present in this Sri Lanka, and because of covering of the news by this Indian media regular coverage, that also led to create a sense of sympathy in or empathy in this India, and we are also having some empathy towards the people, especially in the neighboring of our country. And if you're talking about foreign policy of India, so we have one policy, that is neighborhood first policy. So in this neighborhood first policy, so we are mainly trying to extend support for this Sri Lanka. Example, in the case of food, in case of health, in case of energy security, and even we started supplying of some essential food items, some essential medicines in this corona time, and even kerosene, which will be helpful for the fuel for food, okay, etc. like that. Okay, fuel which mainly used for cooking of food, etc. So here we are having this neighborhood first policy. So under this first policy, India which mainly come forward to provide some help for this Sri Lanka in case of food, health, and as well as energy security. And if you're talking about what is the aid, what is the help that is given from India to this Sri Lanka, so recently we came up with a line of credit as well. Okay, so government of Sri Lanka and as well as Export Import Bank of India, so they came up with this line of credit of $55 million, and this will be helpful for procurement of urea. So actually one important crisis which is mainly faced by Sri Lanka is there is no proper fertilizer, there is no proper urea for paddy crop. So in India we have Rabi season, Kharif season, and as well as Zia season. So in Sri Lanka, they call one season is called as Yala season. So this Yala season is very prominent for the growing of paddy, but there is no proper fertilizer, no proper urea. So they came up with this line of credit to go for procurement of urea for this paddy crop in this ongoing Yala season. So this is the one important step which is mainly important for the bilateral relationship between India and Sri Lanka. So during the discussions, whenever during this Sri Lanka which mainly approached this IMF for this balance of payment crisis, so at that time India's Union Finance Minister Sitharaman, she also urged that IMF should provide immediate and urgent assistance to Sri Lanka. So this is also an important step from this Indian government. And Tamil Nadu, which mainly decided to provide aid of rupees 123 crore, and it mainly comprises about 40,000 tons of rice, and it mainly includes even 137 types of life-saving drugs and 500 tons of milk powder. Okay, Tamil Nadu government which also decided to provide some aid to Sri Lanka, and it said that about 40,000 tons of rice and 137 types of life-saving drugs and 500 tons of milk powder, they are mainly given to Sri Lanka. And if you are talking about what is a vast potential, how we can have good opportunity in development regarding this India and Sri Lanka, so this point is very important and you can write these points in the way forward. So yes, we are having enormous scope of collaboration between this India and Sri Lanka, especially in areas of infrastructure development. Okay, so in case of infrastructure development, we have a large potential to develop bilateral relations between India and Sri Lanka. So apart from that, we can also focus on even electricity grid as well. So if this project of this electricity grid which mainly taken, so this is the one of the important and first point of interconnectivity that is mainly seen. So actually regarding this electricity grid, already we have some experience to how to deal with the bordering countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan and as well as Myanmar. And India also having interest in developing of one important part of Sri Lanka, that is eastern coast of Sri Lanka. So especially we came up with this Trichomalai Baticola belt. Okay, so whenever we are going for this development of this eastern coast of Sri Lanka, that will be helpful for tourism, commerce, trade and even industry in this area. So if you are talking about some more important things, here we can go for developing of traditional sea routes. Okay, Thoothukudi, Colombo and as well as Rameshwaram, Talai, Mannar. And not only that, so we can go for helping of different religious people as well, because especially Sinhalese people, they are majority in Sri Lanka. They are having a one fear that there is some threat which is mainly posed from Indians. Okay, mainly to decrease that, mainly to increase the trust, we need to go for people to people interaction. So greater people to people interaction will be very important for facilitating or decreasing this threat. And we can also include pilgrimage monks and even other sections of this Sri Lankan society to take part in this Buddhist importance. Okay, not only in northern India but also even in the southern India, especially in Andhra Pradesh we have number of Buddhist sites as well. Right, so here author mainly says that there are much more things that can be done, but the opportunity which is mainly created by the circumstances, they should be utilized. Okay, whatever the opportunities that are mainly provided now, so we need to utilize those opportunities to bring India and Sri Lankan societies closer, and we can form an economic union, okay, between the Sri Lankan as well as southernmost states of India. So if you're talking about map, so this is India. So we have Kerala here, we have Tamil Nadu and we have Sri Lanka here. Here we have Gulf of Mannar and here we have Pak Strait. So they are the two which are very important. They are dividing India from Sri Lanka. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding poverty trend in search of an explanation. So here we need to know about consumer expenditure survey. So the data of this consumer expenditure survey of last time that had not been released. So here we need to focus on this all India household consumer expenditure survey. So we are going to focus only on this. So this will be important from our GS paper 2 under governance. So now let us try to understand this topic in a very great detail, and this topic will be important from your prelims and as well as mains. Okay, so please be focused. And if you are talking about what is this All India Household Consumption Expenditure Survey? So All India Household Consumption Expenditure Survey or Consumer Expenditure Survey, it is mainly going to be resumed this year. So after a prolonged break, so we are going to have this survey this year. So All India Household Consumer Expenditure Survey, which is mainly conducted by NSO, National Statistical Office, for every 5 years. So for every 5 years we will be having this survey, and this survey which is mainly conducted by this National Statistical Office. And here this survey which mainly used to arrive at estimates of poverty levels in the different parts of country, and it also mainly used to review economic indicators like GDP, gross domestic product, since 2011 to 2012. Actually, this survey will be conducted in July month and as well as June and as well as July month. So this survey will be conducted. So what is the utility of this survey? So whatever the data that we are generating after once the survey is done, so this data which mainly reveals the average expenditure on goods and as well as services. And even when you are having data, that will be helpful to generate estimates of household monthly per capita consumer expenditure and even distribution of households and persons over this monthly per capita consumer expenditure. So apart from that, so whatever the data that we got, that will be also helpful to estimate poverty levels in the different parts of country, and how this poverty which is mainly related to this consumer expenditure. So how they are expending their money. So if we are talking about what is the need of this type of surveys, so India has not had any official estimates on per capita household spending. On per capita household spending, there is no proper official estimate. And here this survey which mainly provides separate data sets for rural and as well as urban parts. And even that will helpful for spending patterns for each state and union territory, okay, as well as different socio-economic groups. So India has not only having any official estimates on per capita household spending, but even it also provides some separate data sets regarding rural and as well as urban parts. And if you are talking about previous survey when this was done, so this survey which was done in year 2017 to 18, but one important problem with this survey is, so the data has not been released, and government which mainly announced that this had some data quality issues. So because of this, the data which mainly not released regarding this last survey. And if you see this infographic, you can get a clear picture of what is this All India Households Consumer Expenditure Survey. So this year we are going to see this survey which is mainly conducted between July 2022 and June 2023. So what is this consumer expenditure survey? So it will be mainly carried once in every 5 years, and this survey is mainly helpful to access poverty levels and even consumption patterns across the country, and it will be helpful for GDP calculators as well. So this last survey whose findings were made public was conducted in 2011 to 12 and 2017-18 data which had not been released. Okay, so now let us try to see the next topic. It is regarding the state of nuclear disarmament. So this article which is mainly talking about recent SIPRI annual report. So already we discussed this topic introduction in our, I think, day before yesterday's lecture. So again, now let us try to see this topic once again. So if you see context, it mainly says that SIPRI, that is nothing but Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. So here SIPRI which may released its yearbook, that is mean nothing but annual report. So SIPRI released this annual report. Okay, so this annual report which mainly highlights that there is some worrying trend. There is some worrying trend of past year in international security, because why it is worrying, because there is increasing of this warheads, okay, or global nuclear arsenals had been increasing. So because of this, it is one of cause of concern. So this report which mainly claims that absolute numbers of nuclear arsenals have reduced and they are expected to grow over next decade. So this report, this comprehensive report which mainly says that absolute number of nuclear arsenals they have reduced, but they are expected to grow in the next decade. So if you see this image, you can see which country having how many number of warheads. So Russia, which is having like 5,977, and US, which occupying second place with 5,428, China with third place with 350, France 290, UK 225, Pakistan 165, and India is 160. So India is having less than when we are comparing with the China and as well as our Pakistan. They are the countries that are sharing boundary with India, and we are having some threat from those two countries. And Israel with 90 and North Korea with 20. Right. So here you can remember the order wise. So first one is Russia, second one is US, third one is China, fourth France, and India occupies the place that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th place. And if we are talking about some key highlights of this report, first we need to know about global scenario. So if we are talking about global scenario, so 9 nuclear armored states, for example, you can talk about Russia, US, UK, France, China, India, Pakistan, Israel, and Democratic Republic of Congo. So they continue to modernize their nuclear arsenals. Okay, so these countries, they are mainly focusing on modernizing of their nuclear arsenals. Although the total number of nuclear weapons declined significantly between January 2021 and January 2022, and the number will probably increase in the next decade. And if you are talking about regarding India, India had 160 nuclear warheads. India had 160 nuclear warheads as of January 2022, and it also appears to be expanding its nuclear arsenals. So nuclear warheads, they are the explosive head of missiles or torpedo that mainly uses this nuclear energy. So India's nuclear stockpile increased from 156 in January 2021 to 116 in January 2020. That is only just 4. Okay, so this is about in context of India. So if we are talking about China, our neighbor, so China had 350 warheads in January 2021 as well as in January 2022. So India does not share official data on its nuclear arsenal. So if you are talking about Russia and USA, they together possess about 90% of all nuclear weapons. So if you are talking about which are the importers of this major arm, so CIPRI mainly identified about 164 states. They are the major importers of this arms in 2016-20. So if we are talking about country-wise, the first one is Saudi Arabia, second one is India, third one is Egypt, fourth one is Australia, and fifth one is China. So they together account about 36%, okay, 36% of total arms imports. So if we are talking about region-wise, so here region that receive large number or large volume of major arms supplied in the year 2016 to 2020, it was Asia first, second one is Oceania, and they comprise about 42% of this global total. And next one is Middle East. Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding Northern Ireland Protocol, NIP in short. So this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under international relations. Okay, so now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So to understand this Northern Ireland Protocol, you need to know about some background regarding Brexit. So Brexit means nothing but here Britain exit from European Union. Okay, so because of whenever this Brexit which mainly happened, so now they came up with this Northern Ireland Protocol. So here recently Britain came up with a bill, and this bill proposes 4 important changes regarding this Northern Ireland Protocol. So because of this it is made it into some conflict. So if you see context, it mainly says that now Boris Johnson administration has came up with a new legislation. So the new legislation is the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill. So this bill which would enable UK to override the provisions of Brexit deal. Okay, so it is one of the cause of concern for trade arrangements in this Northern Ireland and as well as this Northern Ireland Protocol as well. So European Union has said that the proposed new rule or new bill which mainly violates international law and even threaten to make legal action against this UK as well. So if you are talking about Northern Ireland Protocol, so what is this? So this Northern Ireland which mainly part of UK, and here Northern Ireland which mainly shares boundary or border with this European Union and as well as Republic of Ireland. Okay, so earlier they were the members of European Union. So whenever they were members of this European Union, the things were fine at that time. So after this Brexit, so UK, which mainly exited from this European Union's custom union, so that mainly created a problem regarding who needed two seemingly contradictory outcomes, reserving the sanctity of European Union as a single market and as well as that of UK's domestic market. So what happened? So whenever this Britain, which mainly exited from this European Union, so here what happened, that mainly created a problem. Okay, actually the problem regarding preserving of sanctity of this European Union single market, and next one is UK's domestic market. So here this Northern Ireland Protocol, which was signed to prevent checks across the border between this Northern Ireland and as well as Republic of Ireland following this Brexit. So following this Brexit, here this Northern Ireland Protocol, which mainly talks about preventing checks across the borders between this Northern Ireland. So this protocol, which mainly came into force from the beginning of this 2021, and this protocol which mainly resulted into disagreements between European Union and as well as European Union and as well as Britain. And this agreement, okay, so UK government which has been called to rewrite the deal. So under this protocol, they mainly agreed that this Northern Ireland will continue to follow European rules and they will be having some product standards, and in order to prevent the checks across the borders. Okay, so we are talking about what is this new bill and how this new bill undermines this Northern Ireland Protocol. So it mainly says about some important 4 provisions. So the new bill, which mainly proposes that 2 categories of goods and checks which are mainly meant by Northern Ireland. So whenever the goods are going from Britain to this Northern Ireland, and this is only for this Northern Ireland, they can go in the green lane. There is no need of exemption or checks. Okay, so while goods which are mainly headed for Ireland and European Union, they will be going on the red lanes. Okay, there will be like checks and balances will be there in that. So this is the first important change. And next one is this bill will also remove European Union's oversight on state subsidies and as well as value added taxes in this Northern Ireland region. And the third important one is this bill, which mainly proposes that whenever there is any trade dispute, so this dispute will be mainly resolved by an independent body rather than European Court of Justice. And next one is a bill which mainly wants to give business the choice of selling their goods in Northern Ireland either according to UK rules or European rules. Okay, so these are the 4 important changes which are mainly proposed by this new bill. So this is about this topic, and now let us try to see next topic. Title says global oil demand to rise 2% to new high in 2023. So this estimates of IEA. So actually you need to refer some facts regarding this IEA. I forgot to include some facts regarding this IEA. Okay, so it is your homework for today to refer some facts regarding this IEA. So now let us try to see this topic in detail. So this topic is important from your economy point of view, which mainly comes under your GS paper 3. So if you see the context, it mainly says that world's oil demand will rise more than 2% to record high of 101.6 million barrels per day. Okay, so in 2023 there is estimate that there might be rise of 2% of world oil demand. So this is a thing which mainly said by International Energy Agency. Okay, although there is increasing of prices of this oil and weakening of economy face it, so the future outlook which mainly says that there might be increasing of 2% of this world oil demand. So if you see details, it mainly says that, so this Paris based International Energy Agency which mainly came up with a report, and it said that so supply was being one of the constraints because of sanctions on Russia over the invasion of Ukraine. So Russia which mainly invaded Ukraine. Okay, so because of this we can see there are some sanctions which are mainly imposed. So because of these sanctions which are imposed on this Russia, so even though what happened, there is a supply which is mainly being constrained from this Russia. So economic fear which mainly persists that international institutions, they have recently released their downbeat outlooks. So IEA now came up with this forecast. It mainly said that there is increased demand of 2.2 billion barrels per day or 2.2 percentage in year 2023 compared to that of 2022. Okay, and next one is, even though number of countries central banks, they are mainly going for tightening of monetary policy, that is increasing of interest rate. So because of this increasing of interest rate, there is a increased value for the dollars, and that led to depreciations of other currency. Okay, so this is one important thing that you have to remember. And next one is about 5G auction. So cabinet approves mega 5G auction. So if you see this infographic, you can see like in year 1979 we came up with this 1G, and at that time, so there is no data, that is mainly providing only voice. We can talk mobile calls itself. And in 1991 we came up with this 2G data with the speed of 14.4 kbps, and in 2000 we came up with this 2.5G with 53.6 kbps speed of internet, and in 2001 we came up with this 3G data with 384 kbps, and in 2010 we came up with this 4G with 100 mbps speed, and now in 2020 we came up with this 5G with 1 gbps speed of internet, that is the maximum speed. So if you see context, it mainly says that Union Cabinet which mainly approved the auction of airways mainly capable of offering 5th generation or 5G telecom services, including ultra high speed internet, that mainly gave its nod for setting up of captive 5G networks by big technology firms. So now what happened? So this is a very long awaiting, okay, regarding this 5G technology in India. So Union Cabinet now approved the auction of this airwaves to capable of offering this 5G generation, okay, 5th generation or 5G telecom services now. So it mainly includes high speed internet, and it also gave its nod for setting up of captive 5G networks by the big technology firms. So I want to give you one suggestion for you people who are preparing for this UPSC examination. Especially you can watch perspective programs on the Sunset TV. So daily you will be getting one topic, and the duration of this program will be like 25 to 30 minutes. And if you watch that type of interviews and some views of some big personalities, then you can understand so what is going on reality and what are the problems, what are the challenges. So yesterday I watched this 5G technology regarding perspective. So according to that, they said that everything which can be done with this 4G technology, but only 2 things that can be done by this using of this 5G technology is automatic vehicles, and next one is robotic surgeries. So apart from that, we can manage everything with this 4G services. Okay, so they may talk about why there is a tussle between these enterprises and as well as this telecom company. So why there is a delay which is happening. Okay, so that thing they gave in a very great manner. So please try to watch this perspective program that will be seen on the Sunset TV. Okay, this will be like not more than 25 to 30 minutes. So you can easily, if you want, you can make a small points from that discussion as well. So that will be very useful for your mains answer writing. So if you see details, it mainly says that the auction of over 72 gigahertz of spectrum that will be held by July end. Said an official statements which mainly detailing the decision taken by the Union Cabinet, which mainly headed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji at its meeting. Okay, so here the auction for over 72 gigahertz of spectrum will be held in by the July end. So this is a thing which mainly said by Union Cabinet, and the spectrum auction will be going to start from July 26, 2022. Okay, so this is the thing which mainly said, and TRAI which had earlier recommended that about 39% of reduction in the reserve or the floor price of the sale of 5G spectrum for mobile services, and even big technology companies for the time being they will be allowed to take 5G spectrum for their captive non-public network on lease from telecom companies, and tech firms they had set up captive networks. Cabinet approves mega 5G auction. So here you have to know some facts regarding this. What is this 5G technology? So 5G it is the latest upgradation of this LTE, that is long-term evolution mobile broadband networks. Actually this 5G technology which is mainly offering extremely low latency period, that is delay between the sending and as well as receiving of messages. Earlier it is like 200 milliseconds for 4G, and for 5G it is just 1 millisecond. So we're talking about what are the three bands that are present in this 5G technology. So we have low band, medium band, and as well as high band. So low band spectrum, it mainly shows great promise in terms of coverage and speed of internet and data exchange. And we can see maximum speed of here 100 Mbps, that is megabits per second, that is mainly seen. And this telecos they can use and install it for commercial cell phone users who may not have specific demands for high speed internet. So if you do not want high speed internet, you can go for taking this low band spectrums, but with this low band spectrum it is not useful for industry. And next one is mid band spectrum. So this mid band spectrum, it mainly offers high speeds compared to the low band, but it has some limitations in terms of coverage area and as well as penetration of signals. So it may be used by industries, the specialized factory units for building captive networks that can be modified into the needs at a particular industry. So here in this mid band spectrum, we will be having higher speeds compared to that of lower band, but here there are some limitations like coverage area and as well as penetration of signals, but it can be used in industries. And this one is high band spectrum. It mainly offers highest speed of all these three bands, but they will be having extremely limited coverage and as well as signal penetration strength. And if you're talking about benefits of this 5G internet, so it will be helpful for development and even testing proliferation of this 5G technology system. That will be very much helpful. Actually, one important statement which is given by the government of India here is we are going to have this 5 trillion economy, okay, by in the next few years we are going to have the economy of 5 trillion economy, and this will be also helpful for boosting of our digital India as well. Okay, so users they will able to stream videos with multiple camera angles during sports matches or even play immersive video games using this VR headsets, etc. So this will be one important advantage, and it will be also helpful for enabling of Internet of Things, IoT enabled devices as well. And in other areas like healthcare, public safety and autonomous vehicles, so we have special advantages. So in healthcare, so healthcare providers they can create sensor networks to track patients and share information faster than ever before. And in the public safety, a vast network and rapid response teams, they mean that public works can respond to incidents and emergencies in the seconds rather than minutes. Okay, next one is autonomous vehicles. So 5G will allow vehicles to communicate between them and with infrastructure on road and improving safety and alerting drivers to travel conditions and even performance information. So in all these areas we have much more benefits. So if you're talking about next topic, it is regarding seed balls or seed bombs. So drones to drop balls with 11 lakh seeds. So if you're talking about any measures that to be taken for afforestation and how can we go for restoration of forest, so one important method that we can use here is seed balls or seed bombs. So this article will be important from this environment and ecology, which mainly comes under our GS paper 3. Now let us try to see the context. So a whooping 11 lakh seeds are said to be sown on the hillocks, okay, on hillocks abutting this Raila Cheruvu tank. Okay, so it is about 20 square kilometers south of Tirupati in bid to turn landscape greener. So they want to turn this landscape greener, so they are going for this seed balls. So here if you see details, it mainly says that Pratap Swami of Ekavira Seva Foundation in association with this Bharata Malla Reddy Global Foundation, so they came up with this initiative to make green in this hillock region. And actually this region, which is mainly called as Yogula Parvatam, earlier there were many saints and sages they used to live in this region. So 11 lakh seeds, they are mixed with the clay and they are molded in the shape of balls, and these will be dropped over that hills. Okay, so why we need to go for this seed balls? So as shrub jungle, it is prone to frequent forest fires, and that led to killings of habitats of several mammals, reptiles and insects. So here this Ekavira Seva Foundation, they came up with idea of planting of 31 different variety of massive trees with a wider canopy. For example, neem, pangemia, custard apple, fig, teak, and as well as tamarind, gooseberry, palash, wood apple, banyan tree, sandalwood, red sandal, gemmi, jamun, and as well as plum seeds. Okay, so these are wide range of the seeds which are mainly going to be sown. And this one is water significance. Yes, there will be also they will going to provide a permanent habitat that make the region which is rich in the biodiversity, attracting visiting animals and as well as birds in this region. So how the seed balls will be working? So we are mainly throwing the seed balls, okay, and after that what happened? So seed balls, they lay dominant until the conditions they will be becoming right whenever there is a rainfall. Okay, then what happens? Seeds will going to germinate and finally they will be growing with a strong root. So this is the mechanism of this seed balls. And if you are talking about some important facts regarding the seed bombs or seed ball, it is a ball which is mainly made up of clay, seeds, and as well as compost or humus. And these seed balls, they are mainly used to replant areas where this natural flora has been destroyed. And the technique of propagating these plants from the seeds without opening up the soil using the traditional method like ploughing. And even the traditional method of seeding have certain disadvantages. Okay, and we can go for using of the seed balls such that they mainly protected from the sun and as well as winds and as well as rains eaten away by the birds. So but when the seed balls, they are used the hard clay casing which mainly protects the seeds from excessive heat, winds, heavy rains, and as well as this birds, etc. So the moisture in the clay of the seeds which mainly helps to germinate, and even additionally cotton fibers or liquefied paper, they may be also mixed into the seed ball. Okay, that will be helpful to increasing of strength of this ball. Okay, so these are some important things that you have to remember. And now let us try to see yesterday's questions. The first one, it is regarding democratic system of government of India. So which of the following institutions they are considered to be bulwarks of democratic system of government of India? So first one is Supreme Court, second one is Election Commission, third one is Finance Commission, fourth one is CAG, that is Continental Auditor General, and last one is UPSC. So correct option is 1, 2, 4 and 5. And next question is regarding 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. So there are 18 functional items placed within the purview of municipality according to 74th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992. So which among the following items they were compulsory to be devolved to urban local bodies by the concerned state governments? One is regulation of land use and construction and building, and water supply for domestic and industrial and commercial purposes. Next one is fire services. As it is not at all mandatory for the state government to transfer the powers to this urban local bodies with respect to functional items in this 12th schedule. So option is 4, none of the above. And today's questions are, the first one is regarding National Human Rights Commission, and next question is regarding States Human Rights Commission. So please try to read the statements which are given below and give me the correct option for this questions, and in tomorrow's lecture we are going to see the answer. And now I want to show you today's Hindu PDF, and I want to list some more articles which are important from our UPSC point of view. So before that, I want to make a small announcement. We in Rathod size, we came up with this mains answer writing practice course, and this course, it is for 1 year, and we are giving weekly targets. So based on that weekly targets, daily one question will be given, and based on that question we also giving you model answer, and even evaluation of the answer will be there. And apart from that, we also provide you one-to-one mentorship, and the registrations are going to close by 28th June. So if you want to join this course, please be hurry up. Okay, and many students, they are getting benefited from this mains answer writing course for sure. Okay, so the cost here is just 7,200 rupees for 1 year. So apart from this mains answer writing course, we also came up with this foundational course for this 2023 and 2024. Okay, so in this foundational course, we are mainly discussing each and every topic which is present in your syllabus with a conceptual clarity. So we are mainly going to provide you conceptual clarity, and the cost of this foundation course is just 60,000 rupees with validity of 2 years. It also includes prelims test series, mains answer writing course, and if you clear prelims, there will be mains test series also will be given, okay, under this entire foundational course. So please try to join these courses, and if you have any doubts, please call me on this number 8074765513. Okay, and if you want to watch demo videos, you can visit our website rathodsacademy.com. There you can watch demo videos as well. So after watching demo videos only, you can go for purchasing of the courses. And now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our today's Hindu, date is June 16th, and this is Delhi edition. So the first topic which is important from UPSC point is regarding 5G auction. I discussed this topic and I will suggest you to watch this perspective from this Census TV regarding this 5G auction. And if you move forward, there is one article that is India a global security power, US a top diplomat. So India is a global security power, and the US it is one of the key for India to project his this power. So this is the thing which mainly said by US. So you have to know India's importance in this Indo-Pacific region. So you can leave this city page, there is nothing much important, and also this states page, and you can directly move on to this editorial page. So here you can see one interesting image. So this is about Ochira Kali ritual, which is mainly seen in this column. Okay, if you are from this area, you might be knowing about this. So let me know some facts regarding this ritual. And next one, it is regarding drone to drop balls. I discussed this topic. And if you move on to this editorial page, you can see article regarding ground plan for India's COVID-19 response. Actually, we discussed number of times regarding this COVID-19. And the next topic is regarding steel engine crisis. I discussed this topic. And next topic is regarding poverty trend. So here I discussed about this consumption expenditure survey. And here if you see in this data point, you can see one data point regarding this India-China help lift Russia's post-war oil exports. So in 2022, despite of sanctions, Russia's crude oil exports have been higher than 2021 levels, when European countries they have continued to source their oil from Russia at the levels recorded in 2021. So now what happened here, Russia is providing oil for India at a discounted price. So because of this, we studied that in yesterday's lecture. So Russia, which mainly became the second largest supplier of oil for this India, okay, which mainly bypassed even Saudi Arabia. And in this textile context, I discussed about this state of nuclear disarmament. I discussed about this Northern Ireland Protocol, and there is one article regarding this brain network and nicotine addiction. So what is this nicotine? Nicotine is one of the active ingredient that is mainly present in the cigarettes, okay, especially in tobacco. So here the substance which mainly used in the term in the common parlance, that mainly includes the use of range of products including psychotropic drugs. While not all of these are addictive, but some substances like nicotine, they becomes addictive. So this is the thing which mainly said. And if you move forward, here you can see Myanmar unlikely to be part of ASEAN India meeting. Okay, so here you need to know about 24th ASEAN India ministerial meet. So we are going to get some articles, so don't worry about this article. And next one is Agniveer. So in the yesterday's lecture we studied about this scheme. Okay, Agniveer is to get priority in the CAPF recruitment. Okay, and if you move forward, so here this article says that adequate fuel stocks available, oil firms. And next important article here is panel to study vaccines data for 6 to 12 group. So National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization, they mainly going to review the data regarding this Covaxin, Corbevax vaccine for the children who are between 6 to 12 years. And this one, it is about 75 transformed urban spaces to be models for accessibility. So this is a thing which mainly said by National Institute of Urban Affairs. And if you move forward in this world page, you can see Ukraine pleads with the West for weapons. And in this context, US, which may announce $1 billion in military aid for this Ukraine. And next one is Egypt is still to step into boost gas supply to European Union. And next one is Japan to be the part of this NATO summit. Okay, so it is also one important development. And next article, it is regarding trade gap widens, import surge. So whenever the imports are more compared to that of exports, we can see trade deficit. So trade gap, so that is but trade deficit which mainly increased because of imports which mainly increased to 63%. And next one is 5G will drive significant advancement. So I discussed about this topic. And next one is global oil demand to rise to 2%. Okay, so I also discussed this topic. So these are some important topics which appear in this today's Hindu newspaper. So I hope you enjoyed this lecture. So please subscribe to Rathod Science Academy and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. and don't forget to enroll to the courses that we are offering. And if you have any doubts, so please call me on this number 8074765513. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much.